What's up, everybody? My name is Mr. Gravy, and I'm back with a no BS MLB The Show tips video. And today we're going to be talking about recognizing pitches out of the hands and timing them properly to make sure you're putting the best swing possible on each pitch. So now, before we get underway, I just want to let you know, of course, I do also stream on Twitch, so feel free to check me out anytime. If you have any questions about what you see in these videos, or if you want to talk hitting, anything like that, I'm always available. All of this is done on Legend, by the way, to give you the most reasonable break. And what we're talking about here today applies for every pitcher in the game. What we're going to be looking at first is how the ball comes out of the hand. This is going to really help and go a long way when it comes to recognizing pitches out of the hand. Go ahead and jump right into things. So first pitch, here's the fastball. We've got Tommy LaStella at the plate here. When we look at the fastball, first thing we're going to be taking a look at is how the ball comes out of the hand. The first thing we're going to notice is where the ball is in plane with the pitcher's head. So when this ball comes out of his fingers, right there, you can see it's just above the bill, just under the line where the window panes separate. It's just above his fingertips, and you can see this ball really doesn't rise. It comes right at you, and if anything, it actually starts to drop. Do you see how that begins about right there? It starts to drop down into the strike zone, and that's how all fastballs, four-seam fastballs, look in this game. They kind of come out of the hand, they stay exactly where they were released, and then they start to come down. You can see there's no variation there. As soon as it releases his hand, it comes down. Now we're going to take a look at a slider, which breaks just out of the middle of the plate. What we're going to be looking at here is how the slider comes out of Garrett Cole's hand. And I think right there, if you're paying attention, you'll be able to see the big difference right there. So this ball, when it comes out of his hand, instead of staying directly in the same plane that the fastball came out of, it actually jumps up first. So you can see how this pitch goes up, and then it starts to do its break and come down. And look at how much higher above Garrett Cole's head this is than his fastball was, right? So let's just take a look at the fastball one more time. I'm not changing the camera angles, okay? You can see that when this comes out of the hand, there's no upward movement there. It just comes right at you and starts to come down, versus the slider, which comes in like this, and how it goes directly up and then starts to break down and away. So you're going to notice that with these other pitches as I go through as well. This is another slider, but it's a little bit higher and it's going to be more pronounced. So here it goes way up and then starts to come down. And obviously this pitch is a little bit higher, so that explains that. Here's the high fastball. Once again, and I know this doesn't look high, but I'm telling you, this is right at the top of Thias' strike zone. And what you can see here is it's a little bit higher than the Tommy LaStella fastball, because of course it is a higher pitch. See, here's the LaStella fastball, and it kind of just comes immediately in that lower part of the strike zone. This one starts just a touch higher because, again, it's a higher pitch. But you can see that out of his hand, it maintains the same field, same plane level as it comes in. It's a very pronounced thing. Now let's take a quick look at a curveball. So on a curveball in the dirt, look at how high this ball comes out of his hand. So it's here, and it immediately shoots up way up here, and then it takes a pronounced jump lower, and you can see that's not even in the strike zone, and my PCI can't hit it. That's kind of the big difference with these breaking balls, and every breaking ball is like this. Even changeups do this too. They all do this. They go up first, and then they start their break. Now you might be thinking, well, how do I watch the release point better? Well, a quick, easy way to do it is to look at the bill of the pitcher. I like to look at the end of the bill because your eyes don't have to move as much, because about right there, you can see it lines up with your bill, with the bill of his hat as it's coming from behind his head, and you can easily pick up the ball that way. It's just barely a shift to your left, which will allow you to hit it even better. Let's take a look at how we're going to actually time and hit the fastball, and then how we're going to time and hit the slider. What I'm about to show you are good timings according to the feedback calculator in the bottom left corner, whatever you want to call it. So here's what the fastball to Tommy LaStella, which was right down the middle. As soon as you start to see this ball dipping down like that, just as he starts to dip down, you'll see Tommy LaStella's elbow move in the upper right hand corner as the ball starts to dip down, because all four-seam fastballs do this. They have a slight downward angle, which is what makes it look like it has that tail to it. So right here, as it starts to go down, you take your cut, and we absolutely crush that ball. There's two ways to do this though. The hitters, all the hitters in this game, do a preload for you. Because you're using zone without analog, you don't have to load the hitter. So right here, Every hitter in the game does this, and I'll show you this on the other pitches. As soon as that foot hits the ground, you should be either starting your swing, or just after the foot hits the ground, you should be starting your swing. Why? Because they time it perfectly every time. And I get that with strike zone, it can be a little bit harder to see, but you can use their body motions to help time. That's why some people really rave about certain cards that have better stances, loads, and swings than other cards. And it's the same thing here. So you can see as soon as the Stella's foot hits the ground, I am quite literally, as soon as it hit the ground on a fastball, I started the swing. And right when I did that, I absolutely crushed it to the pull side. And in this game, you want to be just slightly early, and good timing encompasses the slightly early and the slightly late timing windows this year. So when you're just out in front of it like that, you'll be able to crush it. Same thing even if it were on an outside pitch. If you wait until the foot drops and then you start your swing, you're gonna have the best possible hit result. Let's take a look at that with a slider. This is a good timing slider from Anthony Rendon. And again, we'll take a look at the two ways to time it. So here on a slider, the way you're gonna wanna hit a slider is you're gonna wanna wait for that break, that sideways break to start. You don't wanna start the swing, obviously, when it goes up and as it's starting to come down. You wanna wait until it starts to move sideways. See, as soon as it starts moving sideways, we've started our swing. Exactly that. You see, as soon as it starts to slide, we start the swing and we get a good timing swing. It's the same thing here with the foot as well. Rendon isn't quite as pronounced, and he does a toe tap. So we're gonna watch, there's his tap, that's his preload. And then as soon as he puts that heel down, very shortly after, or right as we do it, we should be swinging that bat. And you can see the swings this year are a bit quicker than in years past. They will get to that ball and you'll hit it hard. Let's take a look at Justin Upton's good timing on a curveball. So Justin Upton, good timing on a curveball. The two ways we're gonna look at it here, same way. As soon as that curveball starts to break down, we take our swing. As soon as it starts to move, that second break, the first break is out of the hand and it goes up. The second break is when it starts its new or its true break. And as soon as that happens, that's when you're gonna wanna swing and get that perfect, and get that good timing. And those lead to perfect timings. So in the same breath, Upton's got a nice leg kick to show us here. As soon as that foot goes down, we're swinging. So if you can get yourself in the mindset to when you're hitting, I'll show it live as well. So watch DJ LeMahieu's left foot here. He's gonna take his kick, it's gonna come down, and as soon as he puts that foot down, we've got a swing. And you can see a good timing swing. My PCI wasn't dead on it, but even on Legend, we were able to rock that ball because our timing was good. Timing makes up for bad PCI placement sometimes. And if you take a look, it's the same thing that I was just talking about. As soon as that foot drops or shortly after, you've got to take your swing. And it's exactly what we did there. We got a good timing outcome, as you just saw. So those are my tips for you today to help you better recognize pitches and time them, knowing when to swing, have a more strategic approach. There's a couple ways to do it, couple ways to look at it. So feel free, if you have any questions, hop over to my Twitch channel when I'm live. My schedule is always updated and I'll be willing to answer any questions or even show you this stuff live as well so that you can kind of get a more hands-on approach with it as well. If you liked the video, make sure you leave a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll have more MLB Show tip videos to come. You guys have a wonderful rest of your week. Bye-bye.